I will give just a couple of seconds here to allow some people to get in that may have scheduled this on their calendar. Short impromptu scheduling on my part, but I don't know. Sometimes you pick up people that are just surfing around on YouTube. So we have a schedule for today, which is going to be pretty good, I think. I have an unboxing of a Spinaker dive watch, which the story behind this one is kind of funny. But the Spinaker watch line, I've always kind of looked at from afar. I was like, it's a pretty good watch line. I will try to give those guys a shot. Dive watches, I think I've got most of my dive watches I'm interested in. I look at the dive watches that are out there today, and I don't see a lot of variety that I'm interested in. I think I see a lot more of the, I don't know, kind of repeats. There's nothing really new that seems to be showing up. So that's my problem with dive watches today. They just seem to be, I'm hitting a wall when it comes to creativity and what's going on out there. Some of the dials out there are cool. I love full lume dials. I love the different minerals that they put on the dials nowadays. My wife has got a watch that uses wood. It's a company out of Germany. I forget the name of the company, but she has a watch that has a lot of wood inlaid into the watch, which I think is pretty cool. It adds kind of a softer touch to the overall look of the watch. But today we're going to do the unboxing of the Spinaker. We're also going to do a Nitecore watch review. I'm sorry, a Nitecore flashlight review, which is kind of depressing because I thought this mini keychain flashlight was going to be so good, and it's not. It's actually one of the worst ideas. I'm actually totally against this type of keychain flashlight. I'll pull it off I have another keychain flashlight in my bag that I'm probably going to get rid of on my work bag, but these keychain flashlights just are worthless, especially for a keychain that goes in your pocket. I'll show you the one that I'll be using from here on out, and then I'll get into a couple of Bibles that I've purchased. I've gone through kind of a Bible buying binge, and to be honest, it's one of the best things I've experienced in years, to go through and purchase different translations of Bibles and to have them all out. I have this desk that you're looking at here is about, let's see, about 2 feet by 3 feet, something like that. And most of the time it's covered in Bibles, and I sit down and I'll go through and read things, and I've got so many different translations open, which is super helpful. But we'll talk more about that at the very end. So those of you interested in that, you have to wait to the end. And we're going to start off with the unboxing of the Spinaker dive watch. All right, here we go. Now, I didn't know what this box was when I got it. And to be honest, let's see if I can pull this up here a little bit. So here's the box. And yeah, I wasn't sure where it was coming from. So I opened the box and I thought, oh, it's the Spinaker dive watch. This is the one I wanted to unbox in front of everybody. So I'll take this out, and we have, there we go. All right. So we have, let's see here, cancel that. Something's going on with my phone here. Orientation is locked. Rotate device back. I don't know what that means. There we go. Oh, I guess I got to go this way from now on. Oh, well. All right. Great. All right. Let's get this thing situated right. Apparently, when you turn the camera a particular direction, it locks its orientation. So I'm going to get this camera reset. There we go. And I just heard one of the neighbors, I think they shot a deer outside here. I'm going to be interested to find out what that's all about. All right, so here we are, Spinaker watches. Like I said, I've always had a kind of affinity for Spinakers. I think they haven't really been like a standout design, but just the quality and what I've seen as far as what they've done has been something that I've appreciated. Now, the funny part of this story is I accidentally bought this watch. And I do mean accidentally. I thought there was a discount involved, that you had to put it into your cart, and you hit the button at the bottom to see what the discount would be. And it was, unbeknownst to me, it was purchase. And so there we go. I ended up purchasing it. Now, I'm not depressed over it. I purchased one that I wanted, but this is definitely something that I wasn't really wanting to purchase right away. But interesting box, outer box here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of just expensive boxes because to me that just raises the cost artificially. But here we go. Now, the watch I got, I wanted to get a blackout watch, you know, where they black out everything. Here's their, whatever this is, warranty card. I don't know. Instruction manual, warranty and repair, and affiliate program. Well, yeah, I guess I missed the boat on the affiliate program. But that just makes this a legitimate watch that I'm interested that I purchased. So here it is. This is the Spinaker blackout version. And I kind of like it. This is what I was looking for, was something that was kind of along this line of kind of a stealthy looking watch, dark all across the board. The indices are intentionally lighter, or I'm sorry, darker. They're not as bright as almost all the other dive watches I have, because I always go after the contrast and the legibility piece. And this is one that doesn't quite have the same legibility that some of these other watches have. Here's another plastic over plastic. Oh man, I like the looks of this. Yeah, this is nice. Automatic movement. I think this NH35. I'm pretty sure it's an NH35. It's not a GMT. That would be an NH34. So let's wind this guy up. Yeah. So you can see the handset. This is subtle, and there it goes. Yeah, I like it. I like the looks of it. Internal rotating bezel, so kind of that compressor style look to it. Hey, there we are. How you guys doing? Nice to see y'all. Who else do we have out there? Massacre, Three Boys Mom. I don't know who that is. And John Mentges. Hello to all you guys. I think that's enough hand winding. I'll put this on the chronograph and find out how it's doing as far as the internals and accuracy goes. But let's take a look at the back. Yep. Has the Spinaker moniker on the, I call it the flywheel, the rotor. Little, you know, ICE, internal combustion engine, coming out of me here. So let's try the internal bezel. Oh, it spins right away. Not a fan of that. I wish it was a screw down crown. I've had a few of these. I had a Bulova, what was it, A12, A10, I forget what the designation was. It's the authentic replica of the World War II pilot watch that they were almost able to get out to pilots before the war ended, but the war ended too quick. And anyway, it had the same thing. It had a crown up here at the 2 o'clock and at the 4 o'clock position, and there was also one at the 3 o'clock position. And the problem is that because it's not screw down, as your hand moves, so your back of your hand is going to rub against these two crowns, it tends to move this a little bit. And so I'm not a huge fan of that. I wish it was a screw down crown, and it's not. That's what it is. Okay. So initial impression, I do love the look of this. I love the look of the leather on here. Heavy duty leather, branded. Okay. Doesn't have quick release lugs on it though. Not a fan of that. Nice stitching. The holes, they appear to be a little bit closer together. I like that. Okay, so some good adjustments on the strap. I'm looking forward to that. And the buckle here, the pin buckle. Let's see if we can't get this unwrapped. There we go. Moniker on there. Yep. I like it. Stainless steel. Yep. Twin keepers on there. One of them is sewn in. That is great. Sometimes you have both of them floating around, which I'm not a fan of at all. I like the fact that this one is sewn in place. Wow. Yeah, I'm liking the looks of this overall. And for just a few $100s, this is under $300 on their website. So automatic movement, under $300. Yeah, this is Let's undo this. What do we got for time here? Let's check the time on. What am I wearing? The Rudland Turbine Pilot. I love this watch. My most accurate watch is from AliExpress. All right. Still the most accurate watch that I have. And frankly, man, the loom on this, all night loom. I was 5 o'clock this morning and I read the time without my glasses on, and I'm turning blind. I think my reading abilities are pretty much nil, out past or within my fingertips all the way up. So let's get, there's the date change. There we go. Looks good. And what are we at? 2:11-ish. Teddy Baldessar says he doesn't set the time down to the second. I think, what a waste of time. If you're going to go set the time, all you have to do is wait a few more seconds and get the time exactly as it pops into zeros. And I don't know, that's a criticism I got for him. So if he ever watches this video, that's my minor criticism for one of the videos he did about a year ago, maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago. I don't know. But he said something like that, and I'm just like, that's weak. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait till I'm looking at my the phone here. But I do like the indices. As subtle as they are, I don't mind it. That was the goal for this watch, was to have kind of a blackout look to it. And it's gray. It's a dark gray on the indices. I'm curious to see what the loom is going to be on this. It should be more subdued because of the color of the loom. So, yeah, thick watch. This is a chunky monkey right here, man. This is going to be outside my normal comfort zone. There we go. There's the 12. We'll get this. Push that in. Now we'll do the date. What is today? The 16th? 15th? I think it's the 15th. Somebody tell me what the date is. I think it's the 15th, which is why I want a date on my watch. There we go. So there we go. Not bad. Relatively speaking, the time is set. We'll put this on the time checker clicker and see what the internals are as far as their accuracy goes, amplification, all that. Overall, I like the looks of this watch a lot. I'm pleased. For the price, I'm not sure you're going to beat the price on something like this for an automatic. So Spinaker, I think you did a good job on this watch, and they have other models out there for you too. So take a look at that and let me know what you think of that. Yeah, this is good. I like the hand set on here. The hour hand is significantly different from the minute hand. It's hard to see right now because of the time, but I do like the look of the hour hand as being different from the minute hand. I do like the lollipop on there with it's kind of a, I don't know, it's pulled back off of the indices there a little bit. It's going to hit the 6 o'clock overlap halfway on that one. Yeah, I think this is, check that out. And then the crystal on here, flat crystal, nice. But it does pop up off of the case. I kind of like the looks of that. Okay. I don't remember if there's any anti-reflective coatings on here at all. So I can't say for sure on that one. But to me, let's see if we can pull this up as close as we can and still be in focus. Yeah, there we go. And the internal bezel, I like it's almost like an embossed look on the bezel, which is pretty cool if you ask me. I don't know what you guys think about that internal bezel. Subtle, doesn't take away from it. It actually is subtle enough where the dial still sticks out. And do we have a sunburst? Yeah, we do have a sunburst. You can see it move around there. Sunburst dial, which is kind of cool. I like that. Wow. Yeah. I'm impressed. And then we have the exhibition case back on the back side. Rotor's pretty cool. I like the fact that they did something with the rotor. I don't know why companies don't do that. Just put your company name on the rotor and be done with it. I think that's a good little touch. But they added some color to it as well. Yeah, sapphire crystal. Water resistance is 180 meters. So, wow. Wow. Nice. Now let's see what the case, let's take some closer look at the case here. We got, it looks like brushing all the way around. I'm not seeing any polish. I don't see any chamfering with polish on it. Kind of wish there was a little bit of polish on here, just a little bit, something to kind of break up the drabness of it. But that is, we might have some. Hang on here. Where's my trusty dusty micro cloth? Oh, it's over here. Let's clean this off. I think we might have just a little bit right at the base of the external bezel. Is that polished? I think that's polished. Right there. You can kind of see it. I don't know if I can pull up my mechanical pencil here, but this part right here, that looks to be polished, which I think just a little something on here would be good. Now, if you're going for a total, covert kind of watch or whatever, wear a Casio. Casio is the way to go. I don't know if I can get this to focus in. There we go. Pretty cool. I don't know. I like the looks of it. I forgot. I don't know if that's loomed or not. I don't believe that's loomed. I don't believe the crown is loomed, the 4 o'clock crown. So, curious to what you guys think on this Spinaker. Try on the wrist. All right, take off the Rudland. One of my favorite field military, it's not a field watch. It has kind of a field watch look to it, but it's, what is it, a Type B Flieger pilot watch with a turbine, seconds hand, which I think is cool. That was the middle school of me coming out. It's like, oh yeah, that's such a middle school thing. I'm going to do that. All right. There we go. And I forgot what the dimensions are of this. I think it is a 39, but I want to say it's like 15 tall. 39 and a half maybe. 14 and a half-ish, maybe 15 millimeters tall. So it's going to be chunky. I don't know. Like, that's pretty chunky. Wow. Yeah. Here's the Rudland next to it. You can see how, and this is a much bigger dial. Not by much. Maybe it's in the 40s. Maybe it's 40 and a half. Maybe that's what it is, 40 and a half. But this is definitely on the chunky side. So the chunky factor on this one is going to be close to 3. Man, I do like the looks of it. I do like the black out. It's black everywhere on here, the gray indices. To me, this is like, if you're going to go this direction, if you want something that's really subtle, now you've got it. I kind of pinned it down on this one, I think. This is good. I like it. So overall impressions are, I like it. We'll see what it does on the full review. We'll get this one on a full review here coming up shortly, and get this outdoors. Get this. Now I'm working as a teacher, and I also do PE. So this one's going to get a workout with PE, and I'm a huge fan of dodgeball. Even though dodgeball's fallen out of favor, unnecessarily so, I love playing dodgeball with middle school kids. They're great athletes. They're great competitors. And I still look good when I'm playing against middle schoolers. At least, you gotta look good as a teacher, right? Knock a few kids around a little bit. But they're starting to knock me around. So that's the way it goes. All right. Now, next up is going to be the flashlight. I got to run and grab my flashlight. I was charging up. It was discharged. So I think I've got enough charge on. Hang on one second. But it's the Nitecore. What was it? I think it was the Nitecore. I don't think it was the teeny. It was the smaller version with the LCD readout. I can't remember the model number. I've had it on my keychain for so long, but there we go. I'm going to take this one off. This one's very similar to it. I'm going to get rid of this one too. This is a Phoenix. And I've had nothing but problems with this style of keychain light. So here it is. All right, this is the Phoenix. The Nitecore is the same design. I couldn't stand it. I got rid of it. It's like, man, this is garbage. But it's this little keychain flashlight with the button on top. They're no good. And the reason I say they're no good, I would not trust them, is because even with the lockout functions on here, you end up with a flashlight that invariably has whatever the combination happens to be to press and lock the flashlight out. Invariably, that gets pressed and it discharges. I have yet to have the Nitecore. Man, I wish I knew what the model number was on it, because it's garbage. It was on in my pocket I don't know how many times, because what it is, it's a long press on the power button. There's 2 buttons on here on the Nitecore, and you do a long press on it to lock it, and then you do a press, I forget if it's a 1, 2, and hold it, kind of a press to unlock it. And it just, it had to be a half dozen, maybe a dozen times it would discharge in my pocket. So the Lumentop Frog version 2, and this right here, folks, is the one to get. Hey Matt, how's it going? This to me is the ultimate keychain. I had this on my keychain for when I was doing the lawn business work, and forever. And I had this on, and it never went off. This also has a combination when it comes to pressing it on and off, but for some reason, this one never, ever did it. And I had it for, what, a year and a half? Never went off in my pocket. But I've had this style, this in the Nitecore, doing pretty good, Matt. Good, glad to hear from you. That's awesome. I've had this style go off in my pocket monthly, once a month. I'm always checking to make sure that this thing is charged up, because I never know if it goes off, because I'm wearing jeans, and so the jeans do a great job of keeping the light from shining through. Sometimes though, you can feel the heat, like if it's on high, or like not high but maybe medium, you'll feel it kind of get warm in the pocket. Like, oh man, my pocket's getting warm. I wonder if the light's on. And sure enough, the stupid light's on. But for some reason, between the 2 of these, the Lumentop Frog never turned on. You can see I've been wearing these things. I've been using them. You can see the wear marks on the Phoenix, right? You can see the wear on the Lumentop. And I did buy the extension tube for this one, and I'm going to potentially try to put the larger battery in here and see how that works. And it's not going to be as pocket friendly, I know. This is probably, for me, when you look at the 2 of these, as far as pocket friendliness, the Lumentop is far, far superior. It just doesn't take up as much space. And since I've purchased 2 new to me, used cars, and they have the key fob, and they're just massive, I need to go down to a smaller size, because when I had my previous vehicle, I didn't have the key fob. I just had regular keys. And so this style flashlight worked pretty well with that combination of keys in the pocket. But not anymore. I do like the S-Clip, though. The S-Clip is staying with me. And I'm going to probably just leave this one on my computer bag. It just kind of slaps around the outside a little bit. But yeah, I am not a fan at all of these for a pocket carry. This is garbage. This style, when it comes to the combination, especially if it's a press and hold kind of a lockdown situation like the Nitecore was. If it's a combo press, I think that might be different, where you have a legitimate combination. Yeah. Oh yeah, the Silver Fox. I love the Silver Fox, Matt. It's a little bit big for a pocket carry, for a keychain type thing. But for pocket carry, and this is what I carry for my pocket carry. So yeah, I have 2 flashlights with me that I pocket carry. And I am absolutely sold on the Well-Tool T1 Pro, the Little Duke. This is the version 2, so this has high, medium, and low. The version 1 has only high and low. This one has both. The distance that you get from this flashlight is phenomenal. And you can see I've had this in my pocket for a long, long time. And I use this quite a bit. I don't use the key light as much. And I don't know, having both of these might be overkill, but I just love the Well-Tool, the T1. The T1 Pro is extremely bright. It has a high focal beam, so it goes, the distance that you get off this flashlight is quite a ways. This to me is, for anybody in law enforcement, this is the one to carry in your vest, hands down. This, you know, if I was still in law enforcement, I would have this in my vest all the time and use it all the time. Tail cap, you know, and it's just big enough. This is the oh, what is it? I forget the battery designations. I haven't done reviews on flashlights for a while, which I've had a couple companies ask me to do some reviews for them, and I'm like, I don't know. 14500, that's right, 14500. And this one I think has the, yeah, it has the USB-C plug right in the battery. And so I charge that about every other month or so. And man, there's a lot of fuzz right there on the O-ring. Whatever. That just gives me a little bit more waterproofness. And then of course you got the clip that you can put on either side. You can flip it around. You can flip the clip the opposite direction. So this, to me, pocket carry. I carry this exclusively in my pocket. I have this and my AirPods in one pocket, and I have my keys in the other pocket. So when I had this flashlight, I actually used this flashlight more because it was so easy to use. And for some reason, these guys right here are just, the unlocking features on here are just cumbersome. So I don't know. That's what I'm going with. But Matt, I'm with you on the Lumentop Silver Fox. If I remember right, that's a screw. Was that? I think that's a screw top, if I remember correctly. And then the Tool 3.0, I think, has the tail button on it. But the Silver Fox is a fantastic pocket carry. The only reason I went with the Well Tool, just the higher candela, like you just have a longer throw. And for what this thing has, I don't know, I use it quite a bit. And the low on here is low. So that means the battery is preserved for a long period of time. So I really like that. You get a lot more juice out of the Well Tool than you will the Lumentop. Of course, the Lumentop's not designed for that. It's for short bursts. It's like from your car to the house or the apartment or wherever you live, walking out to the parking lot, you know, giving yourself a little bit of light. But this is like searching. Like you're going to be searching. You need the light for a while. With the 14500, you can get a lot more out of it. And using it on low, which again, with the candela, with the reach that you're going to get on this, you can use it on low and it's still effective out to probably at least 50 yards. At least 50 yards. I wouldn't say it's long distance, but you put it on high, you're going at least 75, maybe to 100 yards of effectiveness with the light. So that's what I carry in my pocket. And I'm switching over to the Lumentop Frog 2.0 because these square guys are just, everybody's going to these square things, and I'm not a fan of it. Also, any kind of rotary, the Sofern 24, both of those models suck. I did a review on those, and the collar that you rotate at the top, everybody's like, oh, that's the best way to do it because it's so intuitive. It's not intuitive. Because you have to, well, first of all, you have to know which the three rings, the three positions are, and you have to rotate past two of them to get to the opposite side. The lockout is not lockout. I've had those unlock as well, put them in my bag. I've had them turn on. The Sofern, whatever it was, it's the model 24, terrible model. And then the Pro 23 is terrible because they went to a collar on that one. So if you can get a hold of the old 23, that's the only one to get. I'm gonna go get that one. I gotta show you, because these switches, what I'm getting at is the switches of these lights. Okay, when you have the switches correct, you can carry them in so many different situations. Let's see if I can pull out. There they are. They're all in here. Here's one. Yeah. Let's see here. It's like Christmas in here. There's that one. Got one more. Where's the other one? Looking for the other one. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, here's the three models. Oh, I know what it is. It's at school. All right, the good one I have at school, the 23. But the 24 Pro, the 24, and the 23 Pro are terrible. Here we go. Take a look at this. All right, so this is what I'm talking about. Okay, these are all the updated versions. The 23 was the original. Then they came out with the 24, which was this one. And then they came out with the 24 Pro, which had, I think it had a longer throw beam on it. And then they came out with the 23 Pro, which uses the larger battery. Okay. I think it's the 18650 and the 24s. Gotta make sure it's not the 18650 in here. Almost positive it's not. Where are we at? 21700. Yeah. 21700, which is the higher capacity. You're going to get more lumens out of it. Everything is just bigger on it, but not by much. And you watch the review I did on the 4 of these. I did a review on these 4, but here's the catch. And you can see already, all right? I had all these on lock in that bag. It's no longer on lock. Okay, I still have juice in there. That's what I'm talking about. Like you turn this to lock, you put it in a bag, it's banged around, and it goes off of lock, and now all of a sudden your battery, your button's hot. What a terrible design. Absolutely horrific. And any knucklehead out there who says that pressing twice is just too much memory power out of your own brain versus rotating a ring, got to get yourself checked out, okay? Because the dexterity to move this with your finger versus having your thumb on here and pressing twice, I don't get it. So yeah, for me, it's the 23 only. And that's what I'm getting at is the user interface or the type of switch that you have, like these guys right here, terrible for a pocket carry. This is a terrible design for a pocket carry. Anything like this, where you have a momentary on-off switch, far better, I think, especially with a button that's like designed like that. And for some reason, I can't explain it totally, the Lumentop Frog never had it go on in my pocket, ever. What's the watch you have with the turbine on the face? Oh, there we are. It is the Rudland AliExpress. One of my favorite watches of all time. Also because it's a manual wind, so it's not automatic. And I absolutely love the exhibition case back on here. All right. So to me, this is like, it's got everything. It's interesting. It's kind of classy looking. Excellent leather strap. Look how thick that leather is. Excellent leather strap. The riveting on here is good. Stitching on there. Classy looking watch. Yeah, it's a little kindergarten-like when it comes to the turbine. But you know what? It's interesting. It's just flat out interesting. Yeah, Cliff, it's one of my favorites. You have to go back maybe a year plus to find the review on this one. It's still my most accurate watch of all the watches I have, which I'm over 50. I'll just say that. Yeah, it's over 50 total. Okay, I was way, way, way higher with my Casios. It was like close to 100, I think. But since then, I've gone way down. But it's a beauty. And the loom on this watch is overnight. I'm talking 8 to 10 hours of loom, because right now we're in the darker time of the season. And so it looms up at, 8:30, 9 o'clock, and it's good until 6:30, 7 o'clock the next day, like it was this morning. I wore this overnight, Oh, yeah, the GD350. Yeah, Cliff, you're absolutely right. The GD350, awesome, awesome Casio. It's one of the best. I'm going to go grab those two. This time of year, I'm doing a lot of hunting as much as I can. Get home, go for a walk, go hunting. And the GD350, and I'm not so sure about the Mudmaster. Is it Mudmaster? Mudman. Mudmaster is the higher end version. Mudman is okay. I'm kind of souring a little bit on the Mudman. So here we go. Here's the Mudman. Very legible. I get it. Great looking watch. This is the emergency responder edition, so it has a metal bezel on here, which I like. I think it's great. Yeah, so pretty cool. But the watch that I always go back to is the PRW, what is it, 6600Y, I think is the designation for it. Has an awesome, supple leather strap. That's one of the things I don't like about the Mudman as much, and I've been trying to break it in. It's gotten a little bit better with wear. You can see I wear this one quite a bit. What is it? PRW 6600Y. Fantastic watch, and it's so much more slim. You know, you get into the G-Shocks, and they just get bigger. The Mudman is a good watch proportionally. It's actually good. But this one is really good. The PRW 6600Y is really good proportionally. Has the adjustment crown on here, so some of the adjustment functions come through the crown. The GD350, this is awesome. I love the vibrate alert on here. I don't know, Cliff, if you use this for the vibrate alert on here. I use it all the time. I use it for teaching because it only notifies me. Right? There's no sound that comes out. You can leave the sound on if you want, but this is set up for vibrate alert. And when I put this on, nobody knows that the alarm just went off or the timer went off, except for me. It vibrates. So that's what I love about this watch. To me, this is a close second to my PRW 6600Y. These two I wear the most. Now this one's chunky. I mean, you look at these two when I'm deciding what to wear for work. If I'm wearing a dress shirt, I'm going to go the PRW route. If I'm wearing, you know, long sleeve, just elastic cuff or whatever, I'm going to go with the GD350, the Grunt. I call it the Grunt. A lot of military guys wear it. You know, a lot of grunts, a lot of guys in the front lines wear this watch. Law enforcement wear this watch. If I was in law enforcement today, I'd wear this watch. I love the 6 o'clock light button. You can also turn that on so that when you rotate it, it comes on. It only does it for 6 hours because this is a non-solar watch, so it tries to preserve, you know, the battery function on here. Yeah, it's your flying watch, dual display, countdown, destination time, all in one. Yep, absolutely, 100% agree with you, Cliff. Use it for steady reps, and yeah, let me go back here, make sure I'm getting all the comments. Yeah, so to me, this is, you're looking for some everyday function and you want something that's a little bit more discreet as far as the alarms go or the notifications, that's the one to wear. Outdoor watch, I just love this watch for outdoors. I love the fact that it's analog. I'm just an analog guy. I do like the digital. And again, the Mudman is superior when it comes to the size of the display and the legibility of the watch. Let me get some of the dust off here. Yeah, it does its thing. Okay. Jim Kincaid over there at his channel has got so many videos on the Mudman. Does a great job thoroughly reviewing this. So if Jim, if you're watching, love it. You're responsible for me buying this watch. When this watch came out in the emergency responder colors and the metal bezels, like, yep, it's time. Because I saw the proportions of it. When you talked about the proportions, I thought, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Has the compass, altimeter, barometer, all that stuff. Same thing with this one, has all the outdoor things on here. This one does not. This one, the GD350, is more of your bang around type watch on there. So yeah. Oh, one other one that I like. Let me pull this one up here. It's the GBX 100 MIP display, battery only. There's no solar on here. If they could do an MIP with battery, myself, Jim Kincaid, and Paul Whaley, we have been railing on this as an idea. Like, please give us a solar powered MIP display watch. I'm not sure if it just takes more juice and the solar panels can't keep up with it. But to me, this one is awesome. Now, this one's a little bit better than the other one, the GBX or the GBD. What is it, 200, 100? I forget what the other one is. I have it, and it's the circular version of it. And I just like this one better because I get better information. Like this has sunrise, sunset, all that on there, where the other one doesn't. This one has a step counter. And I also use this for checking steps, you know, for that. But again, 6 o'clock light, and the light on here is outstanding. You know, when you press the light on here, it lights up really nice. Okay. The light on the GD350, also very good. I love the color change on there. The light on the, this is a 6 o'clock as well. There's the 6 o'clock button on the Pathfinder series. It lights up the dial and the display. So that's really nice. And then the Mudman, of course, does a really, I mean, look at that. That's awesome. So they all do a great job of lighting, which is another important piece for me. You know, when you sleep a third of the day, hopefully, I've been getting a little bit more sleep, but when you sleep, let's just say a fourth of the day, all right? That means that there's going to be a significant amount of time where this watch is worn during low light or no light conditions. So to me, illumination, lume, you know, if you have a watch like this, lume is really important to me, especially something you can read without reading glasses. And for me, with old man eyes, that's what I got going on. So I'm really curious to see what this Spinaker is going to do on the lume side. Oh, we got dust on there. There we go. I'm curious to see what the lume is going to be on this guy. Let's see. Let's test him with a really bright light here and see if we can't generate a little bit of lume. But I'm taking this watch with the knowledge of knowing that it's not going to be the best. So that's okay. That's why I bought it. I bought it knowing that those indice markers, the handset, are already dark gray. Not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad. We'll leave this here for a little bit, see what happens. Anyway, went from that watch to flashlights back to Casios. I always go back to Casios. I don't know about you guys, if you guys are into the Casio scene or not. I am hugely into that. And I've narrowed it down to a few styles that I like. Anything Casio analog to me is generally done really well. So I'm okay with that, good with that. The MRW 200, I call it the Magpie, is really good. I love a few of the G-Shocks. Some of the other G-Shocks are just too clunky and chunky and not enough functions to them, you know? I don't know what it is. The 6 o'clock light, if you look at all three of these, and these are watches that I wear, all three of these have the 6 o'clock light operation button there. Yeah, Cliff, same thing. Gray Man. It's a great little watch. And you go in there and hack in the timer function on there, and it's a great watch. 100 meters of water resistance. It's awesome. The Big Sky, another one that I really like, which also has the vibrate alert in the 6 o'clock position for the light. If I remember right, I think it does. But the Big Sky, I like it. The display is really big. And the Gray Man is also that way too. Yeah, doesn't catch. Yeah, the proportions on the Gray Man are far better than the Big Sky. The Big Sky is one of the chunkier Casios I have, along with the GD350. This is a chunky watch, okay? The chunkiness factor on here is, when it gets low, when the number is low, the chunkiness factor is high. It's an inverse relationship. So, yeah, this one I think is in the low threes. And I think, if I remember right, the Big Sky, the 700 is it 700? What's the number on that one? I gotta go pull this up too. I should have brought my whole Casio briefcase with me to this live broadcast. But the Casio Big Sky, and I've given a few of these guys names over the years I've been on YouTube. 3 years now on YouTube. It's kind of funny. The Gray Sky was one the Gray Man was one that I named a while back, and it just stuck. I've heard people ask, like, where did that name come from? You're looking at it. I'm the guy who did it. And I haven't said that until now publicly, but Paul Whaley, he passed my name on to some guys. Like, where did this name come from? I've never seen it before. Now it's showing up everywhere. So here's the Gray Man, right? Let's get this figured out. Model number on here is, yeah, the W800. And what is this? It's the 7 series. The 736. W736. So this is a vibrate alert as well. But again, the chunkiness, you can see it, chunkiness factor. Okay. Size of the case versus the height of the case. But you have an excellent light. I love the light on the Big Sky, the 736. Very, very comfortable watch to wear, lightweight, and like $35. You got everything on here. And all your functions are down here, down below. So you got your timer, stopwatch, alarm, and dual time, right? Yeah, and it's all vibrate alert. So if I want to go in here, let's see, I got the vibrate alert on. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Got to turn that off. The alarm and hourly chime were on. Yeah, there we go. And then the big sky, I'm sorry, the gray man. This one's been hacked. So there's the alarm. There's the timer. You don't have that unless you go inside on the module and you scratch off some of the solder on one of the contact points. Then the timer function is activated. And it's kind of weird. Like, watch the YouTube channels on this, because to turn it on, to set it, and then also there's a recurring timer. So once it expires, it starts right back up again. There's a press that you have on here, but there's no audible beep that goes with it. So you have to be careful, or just try it out anyway. Set off your timer and find out what kind of timer function you have. And this is actually a band off of the MRW 200. Yeah, I took that off of there and put it on here because I thought it looked better, and I destroyed one. So yeah, there it is. Oh, so the gray man in the UK is flat with an aggressive taper. Huh. So it doesn't resemble this, Cliff, huh? All right, Matt. Matt, it's time for you to get a watch, man. I strongly recommend starting with Casios because they're cheap and there's so many different varieties. They can do so many different things. And if you don't like it, it's not a huge loss financially. This one here, this is the W736. This is $35. I'd go with something like this for sure. The gray man's like $25 to $30, depending on where you get it. They have different colors for this one. I think the big sky, the W736, they have different colors for this one. There's one that's like flat dark or flat earth, or maybe it's a tan color. I'm thinking about getting the tan colored one. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of getting Casios. They're all kinds of different colors, but you know, sometimes you go crazy and you get one that looks like this. That's plenty of color for me. I wish they had blue in here for cops. You got law enforcement. You got, you got fire. You've got, what's the other one? Fire. You got rescue. But you don't have law enforcement, which is blue, usually. So, I don't know. That's just me. They could have put a little bit of blue in there. That's all I'm saying. All right. So, let's check out the Spinaker and see what the, oh, yeah, the lume's not, it's not going to be real recognizable. I think this one is going to be, as far as the lume rating on this one, it's going to be pretty low. I can see that from here. That's too bad. I was kind of hoping that would just last a little bit longer, but maybe not. But again, the intent for me buying this was I wanted a true blackout type watch, something that's very, very subtle. And for me, I can still read this without my glasses. I'm looking at it right now. I can still read it without my glasses. Part of it is the hour hand is so different from the minute hand. We were looking at this before, about 45 minutes ago, 40 minutes ago, and it was hands were on top of each other. But now you can see what I'm talking about. The hour hand is very different from the minute hand. So even with fuzzy vision like I've got, you can see the difference between the two. Second hand, it's just kind of cool. Not a fan of the internal rotating bezel with the crown that doesn't lock down. I wish that was a screw down. If you ask me, that should have been a screw down crown. But who knows? That may have jumped the price up another $15. So, all right, moving on. So let me get this stuff out of the way because now I'm going to get into the latest Bible purchases. Now, I've been including this because my life has changed dramatically. Oh, somebody asked me, like, what knife are you wearing when you're out hunting? Let me do this real quick. I wear the Falkniven, Scandinavian company. The SX1, and I have the A1. The A1 is it's an outdoor survival knife. It's so much bigger than this knife. But the SX1 has a different steel to it. I like the steel on this one. I like the carrying, I like the size. To me, this is one that can do a lot of things when I'm out hunting. So it has a heavy duty spine. I think this is a 1/4 inch steel. So whatever that is in metric, I don't know what it is in metric, but in American standard, it's 1/4 inch. So heavy duty. So this is kind of a smaller version of the A1, but the S1 is just fantastic as far as size goes. Now the A1 is a laminated steel. This is not a laminated steel. And so when I get my first deer, I'm going to be using this knife to break it open. I can use a sharpening on the end here. So it has a convex grind to it, which makes the edge hold its edge a little bit better. At the same time, as you start sharpening this knife, you're going to be sharpening more and more steel with a convex grind like that. So I don't know, but it's just so sturdy. The handle is very grippy on here, very straightforward lanyard hole. You could break and bust open anything you want with the very end of the knife there. Just, I don't know. Obviously, all the way steel all the way through. It fits the hand really well. I like it. As you can see, the backyard back there. That's where I wander out in the woods looking for my venison for the year. So that's the knife I use for hunting. I have another knife that I've used for decades, and it's actually turned into a classic knife. It's a Western with stacked leather discs on the handle that are held together by the pummels on the bottom, and then the what do you call it, the top? Anyway, it's just a classic Western looking knife, which is awesome, and I've had that since the 1980s. So, and it turns out they're a classic. They are actually a collectible. People are collecting them. So, all right, I'm going to pull up some Bibles here. Not all of them because they won't all fit. Not in the lens for this iPhone. But I did get 2 new Bibles. Let's see, where to go. I don't want to close. I have a bunch of Bibles open because I've been doing some research. And let's see. It is. No, that's not it. This is the New King James. Oh, here it is. There's this one. And then I got one other one that had in my pocket, my jacket pocket. Grab it out of here. There it is. Okay. So, for those of you that are interested, I now officially have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's 11 different Bible translations, or 11 different Bibles. I have 3 ESVs. The rest are all different translations. This is a fantastic Bible. This is by the Lockman Foundation. NASB, I don't know what leather this is. Ultra thin, large print. New American Standard. I wanted something that was as close to word by word. This is the 2020 version. So 2020, okay, for those of you that are paying attention to the different versions translations that come out, they did update a few things on here, but the updates, and I've looked at the YouTube reviews on these, they've included brothers and sisters. In the pre-2020 version, they would have just brothers in Christ, but the point that they made when they made the translation change was that the brothers term used in Greek is usually, I think, where it shows up, was really referring to the larger group. It was gender neutral. So brothers and sisters is not a change. It's not a feminizing of the Bible, which the NIV version has done. Okay, so there's a difference. The updated NIV version has done that, but the NASB 2020, as far as I know, has not done that. They've just taken the gender neutral stuff and added and sisters in there, which I think is totally fine. Matter of fact, I'm more than okay with it because that's what it says. It's supposed to be for men and women. So I don't see the problem with brothers and sisters. So here it is. Let's open it up, take a look. Center column references. You have additional references at the bottom with some more descriptions that are just explaining some of those things, which I really like. If you're looking for something with more translation notes, like how do they translate the Bible to say that? Get the NET. This is the NET, okay, with translation notes, full notes edition, okay, the NET Bible. And just for an example. Where was I the other day? And it was just massively, I think it might have been Romans. Let's go to Romans. Where it was so many notes. So take a look at this. So this is the scripture, and these are the translation notes that go around it. And it explains why they chose some of the words that are here, explain where it came from and the history behind the words that they used here. So the NET full translation notes is the way to go. This is the NASB, and I love this because of the quality leather that's on here. I think this is goat skin, maybe, or maybe calf skin. Large print. The reason why I didn't go with another study Bible is I found this out because I've got a couple of MacArthur study Bibles, but in different translations. So one of the MacArthur study Bibles is the LSB, the other one is ESV, and both of the study notes in those two different translations are exactly the same. So like, well, I guess if you get a MacArthur study Bible, you've got the notes. You might as well just get the other scripture that you want to have a different translation, and then just go back to your MacArthur study Bible to get this MacArthur study notes. So I did that. So like, I'm not getting any more MacArthur study Bibles because it doesn't change from one Bible to the next. And I wasn't sure about that, but I do like this. Great. The size of the print on here is fantastic. If you've not ever ordered or picked up an ultra thin, large print Bible before, I highly, highly recommend it. This is the second one I have. I have another one that's premium. This one is beautiful, and I love the feel of this. This one I think is actually goat skin. I think this is calf skin. And this is the New King James by Thomas Nelson, which is kind of they're an old publishing house, I think out of the UK, or maybe it's the Netherlands. But the quality of craftsmanship on here is phenomenal. The maps on here, that's another thing I keep in mind, maps. When you're looking at different Bibles, I'm finding that even between publishing houses, sometimes they have the same maps, which is depressing. You know, I really wish they'd have more and more maps. And then the other thing that's depressing is the concordance in the back. This one's not designed for it. It's not a study Bible. But the concordances can be very anemic for most, except for the NIV study Bible. The NIV study Bible is phenomenal when it comes to the concordance. But here's two ultra thin, large print versions. One is NASB, the other one is New King James Version. You can see the thickness of those. When it comes to a study Bible, here's a MacArthur. One of my favorite study Bibles, I got to tell you, I like it. And I love the version. I love the translations, the LSB. Check out the LSB. Yeah, there it is down here at the bottom, LSB. I just want to show you the difference between a study Bible and a ultra thin large print. Okay, and so for me, study Bibles are great, obviously for study purposes. But if you're traveling, this is a Bible to get. Now, what I found, I had this in my coat pocket. I have one of those kangaroo pockets up front. I'm outside hunting, and if you saw the picture today, you saw the Bible I was carrying, which was this one, which is a CSB, which is a Christian Standard Bible by Holman. And I like the translation on here. I got to tell you, this translation, the CSB and the LSB, I'm liking those two translations. Again, this one is NKJV, NASB. What else do I have? That's ESV. That's ESV. 4 ESVs. I have a King James. Oh, the NET, which is its own. This is also Thomas Nelson. So I have these. These are some of the different translations. But travel-wise, this is all the bigger this Bible is. Small, small print. Okay. Again, I had it in that kangaroo pocket on my coat, and I was out there reading in 2 Kings, and I've almost finished 2 Kings, and love it. The size of this Bible is perfect for travel. So I got up to Josiah, which is my oldest son's name. So I'm going to read his story all together, and just finished reading about Hezekiah. But size-wise, perfect size. I love it. This one also has a couple of maps in the back, which is great. I don't remember if they have any study notes. There's a Bible dictionary. That's helpful. So for some words, it'll tell you some of the words. It'll give you some references. Okay. They go along with the Bible dictionary. Let's see what else they have in this one. I forget. Topical micro concordance. All right. So not only is the print small, but also the concordance is admittedly, they've come out right out front and said, this is micro. Okay. But look at this. I mean, you've got some things in here, and this is a small Bible. All right. Some other things over here, where to turn. If you have questions. Yes, Jim, concealed carry Bible. And it's awesome. The cover on this one is really, it's really nice. What is this made out of? I think this is leather, like not top grain, but I think this is actually a leather cover. So give it a shot. This is by Holman, the CSB. I do like the translation. So when I'm sitting here at this table, and this is the table I have, and let's see here, I'm going to unplug some things here and give you a wider view. Let's see here. Come on. There we go. Get you a wider view of my space here. So this entire table is covered in Bibles, and I do it because I go from translation to translation lightning fast. And I also, and it's more, so this is the thing with having multiple Bibles, physical Bibles. Like, why would you spend so much money on physical Bibles? Because the study portions of them, you get to have multiple study perspectives. So when I have the NET for translation notes, okay, which frankly, there's a lot of translation notes in regular study Bibles. They don't call them translation notes, but they do talk about translations. Then you have something like the MacArthur Study Bible, his LSB version, and you've got his study notes in there. And then I have the NIV. Actually, it's being rebound, so it's not here. That's the one I've had for 40 years. But then you get something like this Bible, which is the R.C. Sproul edition, English Standard Version, the Reformation Study Bible, which is massively thick. I'm going to put that over here so you can see how thick that is. Here's the MacArthur Study Bible on top, okay? And here's the NET. That's the translation notes. Put that on top of that one so you kind of get a view, right? And then one more, and this is another favorite of mine. Now, I was using this last night, and this one is an ESV, and it's done by, I'm not sure what the company's name is. What is this? AMG. Isn't that like a record company? Anyway, ESV version, but it's a keyword study Bible, Hebrew and Greek. So in the back, you go in the back here, and you get literal, like what is, in this case, this is the Greek. You look up something in Greek, and you can see how it's used and where else it's been used. And so you actually get the word for word piece. Now, you don't get a lot of words because they're all underlined, okay? But they don't have them all underlined. So this is not an exhaustive one. But again, here's another one. And so these are the study Bibles that I use, and I have them open for different reasons. And that's what I try to do. I try to have these things ready at the ready. So the questions I have are answered as quickly as possible. And I don't even think a cell phone can do that as quickly as possible when compared to these Bibles. So yeah, so the two new Bibles, let's get these guys out of the way for a second. The two new ones, and I've done not a review. I'm not sure how to review a Bible, actually. I talk about it. And for me, it has to do with maps, obviously the translation. And from there, it goes into the references in the back, which are maps, the concordance, any of the study guides. The Reformation Bible has a bunch of Reformation creeds and confessions in the back, which are hugely important for me now. I'm really diving into kind of church history, but these are the two newest ones. The CSB concealed carry version, a la Jim Kincaid, who just joined us, which is a great little Bible that you can put, for me, it was in the jacket pocket. And the NASB ultra thin, large print. Fantastic. And I love reading the NASB. And one of the things I'm doing with this Bible, and I'll kind of wrap things up here with this, is my new thing. And that is, I'll open up here to where I'm at. I think this is still, nope. I went through a Bible study and I reorganized all my ribbons. But now I'm on Ephesians. So there's Galatians. I finished Galatians over 2 weekends. I'm going to start Ephesians today. And what I'm doing is I have a notebook and I'm transcribing the Bible word for word out of the NASB. And I have the Bible written over here word for word. I have my notes over here, that things that strike me as I'm writing this down. And I got to tell you, this is where you really start to pay attention to what's being said in a way that this slows you down. To have to write this and think about what you're writing word for word, making sure that you're accurate. First of all, it's like you feel the pressure of the scribes back in the day. They had to get it perfect, word for word, and their lives depended on it. So, of course, that's not the case now, and this is for me, and I'm not going to be publishing this, but the point being is I have to go slow enough to get this down, and you'll see what I do in here is I'll come across a phrase in the NASB, and I'll be looking like, wait a minute, I think this might be said differently in a different translation. And so here's the different translations and some of the words they use, and I'll put those in brackets. And so you'll see that in my notes when I come across a word that has a different explanation or a different usage in a different translation. I'll put those in here. So this to me is becoming my pocket study guide for the New Testament. So I'm going to be doing the whole New Testament, writing down the whole New Testament. So I'm going to be going into Ephesians chapter 1. And I like using a grid, whatever notebook you choose. I highly recommend a grid. It just keeps everything in line. And yeah, it's been an eye-opener. This to me has been something I highly recommend anybody who's interested in studying the Word to do this, because as you go slowly through the Word, God is going to talk to you in a way, He's going to reveal things to you, and to have a place to write it down, which I'm a huge fan of writing in the Bible. But this is another avenue, another way of doing this. And so that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to do that after I get done here. Is I'm going to go through and do probably 2 chapters out of Ephesians. And I think there's only, what is there? Is it 6? 6 in Ephesians as well. So try to get maybe through 3 of them this weekend and 3 next weekend. But there you go. That's the, there we go. Jim, that's funny. I was just trying. Nice. You're doing Colossians. I'm going to try to catch up to you. Hey, Jim, are you doing, where did you start when you started doing your transcribe? Did you just pick a book of the Bible, and just start transcribing it? Because I started with the small books because I don't want to get into any of the really big ones just yet. I wanted to try it with short books of the Bible and work my way through this section. I want to get all the way through up to Revelation. Then I'll decide what to do with Revelation, because that's a longer book. And what I might do is go back to the Gospels and then hit the Gospels and then finish with Revelation. Because this is the extent of, I don't know how many books this is: Ephesians, Philippians, Colossians, 1st, 2nd Timothy, Titus, Philemon, Peter, John's, all 3 John, Hebrews. So yeah, anyway. But I'm just curious, Jim, where you started. Anybody else out there that's doing that? Like, if you're transcribing, where did you start? And then the big one is going to be going back and doing the Old Testament. That's going to take a while. There's a gal who started this where I got the idea from. It's not my idea. And she's been doing it for 4 years. And she's just getting close to finishing the Bible. And I think that's going to be a huge, huge celebration for me. It took me 4 years to read through the Bible a second time. I think I'm going to get through the Bible in about 2 years, because I've been reading a lot more than I ever have. I think my discipline's much higher as well, considering all the stuff that's been going on in my life. So it's been, I've been leaning heavily on God and a lot of prayer, and Jim's a prayer warrior for me, and a few other people out there for sure. So anyway, Jim, let me know what you're doing, how you started with the transcribing the Bible. Like, did you pick a particular system in place? So there you go. That's the story for today. The Spinaker watch. I think the Spinaker watch is going to be just fine. Where'd it go? Here it is. Yeah, Spinaker watch summary. Get rid of the Get rid of these garbage flashlights, these little guys right here. Terrible idea for pocket carry. Go with something like this. For whatever reason, Lumentop seems to do it. But if you really need a pocket carry, I'm going with the well tool. That's my favorite pocket carry. I'll have both of these in my pocket for different reasons. And, you know, if you're going to carry a flashlight, this is the light of the world. This is the light of the soul. This is what's going to make a difference in your life. So that's my story. I'm sticking to it. You guys have a great weekend, and we'll catch you all next time. See ya.